Hello and welcome to a battle report from A Tale of Miniatures and Dice. We're gonna play Hassassin Bahram versus Aleph on a game of Frostbyte, 300 points, ITS Season 16, Part 2 and 5. And this game is actually part of the Mothball incident, a global unofficial Infinity campaign that we are running these days, and more about that a bit later. Human Edge, Flying Carpet, Bateau Berlin Incorporated Company Shuttle, Proximities of Rigoletto cargo ship wreckage. Bateau Berlin did not like the cold. As he stared at the empty space extending outside the window of his cabin on the flying carpet, he thought about the transcript of a conversation sniffed from the crew of CJC boarding shuttle Mandillo. An ideal pitch-black heatsink, ready to squeeze every watt-hour out of you, to fizzle it into entropy along its relentless race towards 0 Kelvin. It was just an irrelevant Nomad's engineer's trash talk, but he kept thinking about it. Same as the Nomad shuttle and many other vessels in the area, the flying carpet was racing towards the Rigoletto cargo ship. He was officially after a silk shipment of his, and all the others also had equally good official reasons to be there. In reality, everybody was there for the Mothball. He closed his eyes and tried to bring back the feeling of the scorching hot Burak sun on his face. Then the door opened and Lieutenant Prescinsea got into the cabin. "We're ready to start boarding operations, Captain," she said. "Lieutenant, we got confirmation that all life support systems on the Rigoletto are out of service. It is cold down there. I'm giving you all the armor a humble silk trader can afford." He paused for a moment to give her, the Ghulam officer, a meaningful look. "But please keep yourself and your team warm and in one piece. There will be more work to do. This is just early game and we are in for the long run." Okay, so as mentioned, we're running the Mothball incident, an unofficial Infinity Global campaign. In the video description there will be all the links and the information you need. Go to the website, there you can read all the rules, how to play, how to join, how to submit a battle, and how to make a difference in the narrative of this campaign. All ITS missions matter, and there is also a special mission, special Mothball mission for this campaign, and there is also a free STL miniature file to download. In addition, you can also join the Discord server where more than 100 players, they're there interacting, role-playing and forging the narrative for this event. So without further ado, let's get into the lists. Hassassin Bahram, this is a little unusual list, I think, in the sense that does not really sport the classic Hassassin Bahram strong points, but I really wanted to lean into the Frostbyte mission and bring as many heavy infantry, tags and remotes as I could fit. I think it still is not a bad list, and actually performed quite okay during the game. So it is just a bit different from what you normally see. Also, our meta maybe is not the same as maybe others, and so this might not be very competitive, depending which army do you play against, and how your meta is. But I have to say it was quite okay for me. So we have a shakush, first of all, because I wanted to bring a tag and because I had just painted my shakush, so I wanted to bring it. And I put it in a duo with a Saik, a shakush pilot, so those two together in a duo. Then I have some line infantry. I have a Gulam NCO, I have a Gulam lieutenant and 2 Barids, 1 regular hacker and 1 killer hacker. I have the option to put them in a link or to also keep the lieutenant on its own. It depends, as you know, depending if I go first, I go second, how the table looks like, and so on. So there's that. I have a Camille Evo hacking device. That's for mainly fairy dust, possibly, or also for assisted fire on the total reaction bot. Then I have an Ayar because it's super cool and very good trooper. I think in this list it's the only maybe piece that can actually, you know, have a firefight against maybe enemies with mimetism or with some trick, you know, leveraging a surprise shot and the triangulated fire. He can still, you know, be at good odds against tricky opponents. Then I have a Bokhtar. Bokhtar is 50 points almost, that can parachute into the zone and can also do, I don't know, 80%, maybe more of the classified. So thought it was good to bring her. I don't play her too often, so it was a good opportunity as well to play her one more time. And in group 2 I have Sunduk Boot. So I really wanted to have high burst options in ARO. So I have both a Sunduk Boot as well as a Shihab remote. In a mission like this, in which you need to move forward, you know, you cannot camp in your deployment zone, I think it's going to be interesting to be able to shoot many bullets at your opponent as they have to move forward to score. And last not least, this list actually has 11 troopers, but cannot be stripped of orders because there are these two, there is one hidden deployment and there is a parachutist. So despite having a tactical awareness order on the shakush, cannot be stripped. So I think that's not bad. So for Aleph, we have a 3-man team, Hawkwood and 2 Dawans. Very effective and scary firefighter, Hawkwood is, with the K1 sniper rifle. Then Pentisleia, she's like really good, moves very fast, you know, monofilament close combat. She's also a smoke, so very good pick. Then the Azura, I think, you know, 60 points, heavy infantry, super resilient. She's also specialist, a hacker. You know, definitely good choice for Frostbyte, I would say. Then Warcore, 2 posthumans, the engineer and the forward observer. We have 2 Tyrios, the hacker and the killer hacker one, Netrod. And then for group 2 there is the Deva lieutenant, the K2 auxiliary, as well as 2 Lamed flashbots. Let's have a look at the deployment. So Aleph actually wins the initiative rolls and opts to go first. So in Frostbyte you could argue maybe to going second is best, because you have the option, you know, to secure last the exclusion zone and make some decisions only, I mean, after your opponent. And but I think because he was going against Hassassin, he was a bit concerned of, you know, infiltrators, impersonators, and others. So I thought maybe better, you know, if I go first, if I flip the consoles, if I, you know, turn on the heating units on my side of the board, and then, you know, create a problem for my opponent to have, you know, his troopers surviving at the end of the game. But he was not really seeing, you know, so many heavy infantries and tags and remotes on the other side. So That decision he made, and I decided on my end to actually deploy second. So for Aleph deployment, we have a worker on the roof, we have the Azura, I think prone, behind this barrier. Then the fire team with Hawkwood on the roof and the two Dawans in silhouette contact with the Azura. He's really scared or really wants to avoid that, the Azura is engaged in close combat by some impersonator or others. Then the two Lameds on rooftops, Penthesilea bit in the back, to fully leverage the impetuous order moving forward. Then the two Tyrios infiltrating up to the edge of the exclusion zone. The Deva Lieutenant here in the back line. The Netrod also, I don't remember actually if it was successful or not in the combat jump, but anyways, ended up here behind in the back line, and the HVT there. So for Hack-Islam we have the Shakush behind the building, in link with the Saik behind this other signpost. Then the link team with the Gulam NCO and the two Barids. Actually the killer hacking device is actually prone here on this kind of bridge, and instead the others at the ground floor. Then we have the remotes, the Evo hacking device behind the building, and the Shiab here on the roof. The IR is hidden deployed here on this bridge, and the Gulam Lieutenant goes here prone on this rooftop, hoping to stay alive. Then the reserve drops. The HVT, goes here at the bottom of these stairs. Close to those stairs, that would lead up to the tower here in the middle. Then the reserve drops for Aleph, the two posthumans, the proxy and the engineer. The engineer goes back close to the Dawans, and the proxy goes in the middle. And for Hack-Islam we have the Sandak bot and its decoy here at the edge of the exclusion zone, looking at this console here. So as far as classified objectives, Aleph has vigilance and combat support, and Hassassin has HVT follow-up and vigilance as well. For Hazmat operator, Aleph selects Penthesilea, and Hack-Islam selects the Barid hacking device. And for TSO, Aleph gets the reroll for the scenario skill that he assigns to Penthesilea as well, and Hack-Islam gets a gizmo kit that I also give to the Hazmat operator, so to the Barid hacker. So with all the bookkeeping done, we are ready to go into turn 1. So this actually is the opposite view, so it's from Hack-Islam deployment zone, and I think this picture was taken not really at the beginning of the game, but a bit maybe at the beginning of Hack-Islam turn 1. So yeah, the position of the miniatures is not exactly as it was at the beginning of the game, and but regardless that, let's get going. So from Aleph side, first is the impetuous order from Penthesilea. She zooms like behind this building into here. There are nobody can do anything about it. There is no line of fire, and then she ends up being behind this building somehow. So with that done, there is a problem that needs to be solved, which is this total reaction bot. So the easiest way to deal with it is with Hawkwood, so activating this fire team, moving forward the Dawans towards the exclusion zone, still keeping coherency, and then Hawkwood, shoots down to the tier bot and puts it unconscious level 1. So with that threat removed, then Penthesilea can push even more forward and goes in touch with the console, flips it, and turns on the heating unit on in Aleph's deployment zone. And after that, she also places some smoke, like about here, or I mean, anyway, somewhere here. The point is to block line of sight across this gap for these camo tokens, which in reality is the Sandock boot. But with smoke down here, the proxy FO can actually walk up to this console and try to flip it, but it whiffs it. So we have a proxy FO, here in silhouette contact with the console, but he's not successful in flipping it, and so he decides to give up, not to insist too much on this. On the other side of the board, he moves up Ethereos from here, goes to the other console and actually manages to flip it, and so turns on the other heating unit, the one in Aleph dead zone. So at this point, it doesn't really feel he needs to spend more orders on activating consoles, and instead prefers to do a different thing, which is to call down the parachutist, the K2 auxiliary, that lands somewhere here. So at this point in the game, the Saik was not here, was basically staying behind this wall, and also the Shakush was basically a little bit more behind and was kind of looking this way, or maybe a bit more like that, but anyway did not really have line of fire to this point. So we have the K2 coming down and then jumping on top of this box, and what I can do is to reveal the Sandock boot and shoot at the K2 with my AP Spitfire, but the K2 in turn places an Imarat template on my Shakush. There's not much I can do about it, so I have to roll 2 BTS saves at half BTS, and I roll a 1 and a 5, and so I'm fine. So that was pretty relevant, as I could have had my tag immobilized and isolated, but that I got lucky. I saved that, and the Sandock boot destroys the K2 with the AP Spitfire. So yeah, too bad. I think a bit of luck here. I think it was not a bad play. It was a good play, and it is also true that I missed to mention that we both reserved speedballs. So I could have, because I didn't have an engineer in the list, only had gizmo kits, so the Shakush was a bit stuck. I could have called a reset speedball, being pretty close to the exclusion, to the board edge. That was pretty safe, and that should have landed most probably, but still it was a bit of resource attrition, right, in between orders and calling the speedball and so on. So would have still been a pain to have the tag isolated, immobilized, but that didn't happen. So I think this was the end of Aleph turn 1, and so Hassassin turn 1. First thing, I activate the Shakush duo with the tactical awareness order, and from here the Shakush can peek out from cover and aim at this Lamed that was sitting on this rooftop. So from here, this is very good HMG range, I think fairly favorable engagement despite the mimetism of the remote, and I mean, with continuous damage, the flashbot is destroyed. So next is the NCO. So with the lieutenant order, this fire team activates, and the Gulam NCO through these doors is actually able to land a smoke grenade about here, and this actually blocks, you know, we have a smoke template here, and this blocks Hawkwood line of fire to this place, and so I'm able to also land my Bokhtar somewhere behind here. So the Bokhtar lands here, and with its tactical awareness order moves, you know, towards this point, and basically shoots 3 boarding shotgun rounds into the back of the proxy forward observer, and kills it. So the FO is gone. Penthesilea probably had like an ARO, but with a, you know, submachine gun at bad range and mimetism and cover, and so that did not connect. And so I end up with the Bokhtar in silhouette contact with the console and prone, but that's about it. I mean, I have 50 points in the zone, a heavy infantry, and at this point I don't think I need to spend orders to activate consoles, because I mean he already has 2, so I'm not gonna score too many points with that, and I don't really need. So I'd rather try to do something else, because I have a problem of you know, Penthesilea being here in the middle of the board with a monofilament close combat weapon, smoke grenades. That's pretty scary. So to get rid of that, I activate my IR, so the IR reveals from here, and you know, considering triangulated fire and surprise shot, engages Penthesilea, but whiffs pretty badly. Probably puts a single wound. I spend a couple of orders, but then Penthesilea with a single wound manages to scoot back, you know, dodging behind this building. And so I have an IR in the wind. I mean, the IR is pretty scared by, of course, Hawkwood. From here, you know, this tower is blocking at the moment, but it's easy enough for Hawkwood to walk maybe somewhere here and get line of fire to the IR. So I need to spend a few more orders on the IR, walking down here. I exchange a bit of rounds with the Warcore, but I whiff that as well. There is a ladder here on this building, so I'm able to climb down, walk all the way around here. I think here I spend another order to go back into Holo Echo state somewhere here, and then I spend another entire order to reveal and surprise shot Hawkwood from here, but that again I whiff, and I also don't get hurt myself, but I don't manage to do anything to Hawkwood. So that's effectively the end of my turn. I mean, I need to spend my order, the only order of group 2, the Sunduk Boot, and I reposition it a little bit, you know, to get a better line of fire, because it had, you know, shot the K2 here on the roof, so it's probably looking somewhere around here, and I actually wanted to look forward to protect both this way as well as this way. So I reposition that, and then I probably have a single order left. I was debating if to, you know, do something to bring back the tier bot, because I have a gizmo kit in the Barid hacker. I have a gizmo kit on the Saik, but I don't have enough orders at this point. I did other things, and so I have to give up on this idea, although I would really like, you know, to bring back the total reaction bot, but I cannot afford it at the moment. And so what I do instead is activating again this fire team, the Gulam and the Barids. And the fire team lead is the killer hacking device that stands up, aims its her rifle to Penthesilea and shoots. She has like 3 dice plus 1, and it's good range. Of course, Penthesilea has mimetism, so I'm on flat rolls, and I roll 2 12s and a 9. Penthesilea fails to dodge, and so she has to roll 5 armor rolls, and Penthesilea dies for that. After, you know, shooting at her 2 or 3 times with a yard out of surprise and whatnot, in the end she goes down to a Barid, shooting at BS12 with no mods and critting 2 times. So actually Penthesilea dies, and of course I kind of traded for the Barid because the Barid now is standing in the wind, but I think it was worth it, and it was also pretty nice event, quite narrative, you know, and again a bit of a luck strike, you know, lucky strike in the sense, you know, 2 crits on a 12, but it is what it is, and so this basically is the end of turn 1. So now we go into Aleph turn 2, and I mean he's not super happy because he lost Penthesilea, and he also lost the proc CFO, but I mean still has lot of punch into the list. And again Hawkwood has a few targets, so first he tries to shoot the Ayar who remained in the wind. Luckily the Ayar survives the engagement and also, you know, gives up on his religious beliefs and is able to dodge out of line of fire. So this is not bad because in the state phase he can go back to Holo Echo. So that's again a bit, I mean, it was not, I mean, impossible that he had survived, but he could have also died, no, from this K1 sniper. So that's good. So okay, Hawkwood is not super happy about it, but moves to the next target. So basically walks here. From this position, more or less, he has line of fire. Oops, sorry. He has line of fire from this position to the Barid, and this time, you know, the Barid goes down from K1 rounds. So again, it's a bit of a stalemate. Not too many standing targets. Hawkwood doesn't really want to live here. Doesn't want to invest more. I mean, he could move forward and get line of sight from maybe here to the Bokhtar, but it's not the best possible engagement, and so he made a different decision. So, you know, the Azura thinks something like, I always have to do everything by myself, and so she goes. So the Azura from here starts walking, you know, around here. There are no AROs. She continues to walk around. She arrives here. She's in a hacking area of the Ayar, and she isolates the Ayar. So the Ayar is here isolated, and then she can like move here, and she basically fries the brain of the Barid hacker. So that's one thing. So the Barid hacker is gone, you know, with from Azura's Trinity, and then the Azura can walk into this room. She also kills the NCO, the Gulam NCO, and basically ends up in this corner here. So after all these, I mean, a few orders spent, there is no more Gulam, there is no more Barid, and we have an Azura tucked into this corner here. And at this point, with the last order, he puts on Cyber Mask. And with that ARO, I reset the IR one more time and I roll a 1. So the IR goes out from isolated state. And this is going to be pretty relevant. In hindsight, maybe it would have been a better choice to go on suppressive fire with the Azura from here, because I mean from here you cannot really engage her outside of 24, and basically all my hackers are gone. So, but maybe he was a bit, I don't know, upset or concerned about the tag. So anyways, this is the decision he made. And this is basically the end of Aleph turn 2. We now go to Hassassin turn 2. So now there is plenty of room into group 1. So I spend the command token to move the Sandok boot into group 1. And then I activate the Shakush duo. This time I think it requires a couple of orders, but there is a stair either on this side or on this side. Anyways, the Saik is able to get on this roof somehow, and from here, from actually standing here on this roof, the Saik has line of fire to the unconscious total reaction bot. Tries at least 2 times to shoot with the Gizmo kit. 1 time misses and 1 time fails. I mean, 1 time hits, but the tier bot fails the physical roll and so loses 1 more wound and loses 1 more level of unconscious. So I say, okay, no luck there. So because my plan at this point was first bring up the total reaction bot, second give it marksmanship, third shoot with the tier bot to Hawkwood, ideally remove Hawkwood, and then move the Shakush here and deal with the Azura with the Shakush. But I really didn't want to engage or commit the Shakush in this position because Hawkwood actually, remember Hawkwood was actually here, so Hawkwood had the line of fire down here, and so I was not able to get line of fire with the Shakush without also ending up in line of fire of Hawkwood, and I was pretty scared of this K1 sniper rifle, and so I decided to do a different thing. Because the Azura here, it's a huge pain. I mean, if I let the Azura survive and to turn 3, basically in my deployment zone, I mean, I have super hacker with a multi-rifle in my backlines, and I mean, that's a super serious threat. So I need to get rid of her in my active turn. So what I do is I activate the IR, and thanks to having to Holo Echo, that I'm actually by very small distance out of the Azura's hacking zone. So from here I'm able to walk all around here. Of course it takes me a few orders, but they're well spent, I think. So I can basically go around the hacking area of the Azura, end up here in Holo Echo state. So basically we have the IR standing here, and then I declare a discover towards the Azura, and of course the discover shoot, right? And I mean, surprise shot doesn't matter because the Azura has a multispectral visor level 3, and then it debates a little bit, should I just do nothing and hope it fails to discover or not, but then she decides to shoot with a multi-rifle. And actually she's on 14s and I'm on, I think, 13s. because we are both, actually I'm on 16s because I'm in good range and there is no cover here while I'm on cover. So it's like one shot on 14th versus 4 on 16, and here again, I mean, she whiffs, she rolls like an 18 or something, and I land 4 hits. So 4 hits with an AP rifle, and actually she fails 3 armor rolls. And so the Azura, with basically a single order, is taken down by the IR. And here we see, you know, this is the IR a bit out of focus, but this is the Azura standing in the corner of the room, and from here the IR is able to remove her from the game. And this is a pretty big deal because now the Azura is gone. I have a couple more orders, and I try once again with the Saik to bring back the tier bot, and this time I succeed. So not only I hit with the Gizmo kit, but I also, you know, roll low enough with the physical roll for the Shihab, and so he's back up. And I have one last order, I think, and with that I debate a little bit and I put marksmanship on the Shihab, because I really want, you know, to be a bit more of a pain for Hawkwood. And so this is the end of Hassassin turn 2. So Vanilla Aleph turn 3, we're close to the end of the game. I mean, now he's a bit of a difficult position because to score the exclusion zone is gonna be difficult for him, because all his heavy hitters are basically now gone. So once again, for the second or third time in the game, he has to deal with the total reaction bot. No, I think it is the second, as I brought him back just once. And Hawkwood again from his deployment zone, from this bridge, once again engages the tier bot. Despite having marksmanship, it is this time I think he kills it. So tier bot is gone, and now he sees an opportunity. So there is a mission which is assigned to this Tyrios guy here, which is go kill the Gulam lieutenant, which is pretty obvious at this point, and come back so that you don't die. So you come back to the heated zone. So the Tyrios walks here, there are no arrows, goes back here, climbs up this ladder, and ends up somewhere here in cover, and then starts to engage the Gulam. So he has an SMG, the Gulam has like a shotgun, so but still 3 dice versus 1, and it takes, I think, I don't know, 5, 6 orders, like a lot. And the Gulam continues to make her armor rolls, and even in at least once he also wins the face-to-face. So also the Tyrios has to roll an armor roll and he succeeds. So it's really huge amount of orders. Actually, with the last order, finally the Gulam lieutenant dies, but the Tyrios doesn't have now order to go back to his deployment zone. And so that's basically it. I mean, he will be, he is doomed, right? He's gonna die of cold standing here. But at least he removed the lieutenant, and I think before, when he activated Hawkwood, he also slingshot forward the Dawons to be in the exclusion zone. So at least he has the 2 Dawons somewhere here in the exclusion zone. But really, this is it, right? So all his orders spent into this lieutenant kill, and so this is Hassassin turn 3, and I am in loss of lieutenant, but I mean, I have a couple of tactical awareness, and I'm not too concerned, because it's fairly easy to get enough points into the exclusion zone. And with the Bokhtar, I'm also able to do the classified. And so this is basically the end of the game. It's a 6-3 for Hakislam. I would say minor victory probably for Hakislam, because I have more army points, I dominate the exclusion zone, and I have a classified. But my opponent has 2 consoles and more consoles than me. So in the end it is 6-3 for Hakislam. I think it was quite interesting game, a lot of back and forth, and well, there were a few, at least 3, maybe 4 events in which I was really lucky, right? So I saved the Shakush against the Imarat. That was pretty lucky. I killed Pentisleia with my Barid with double crits. That was also pretty lucky. And I also one-shot the Azura with the Ayar, which was also fairly lucky. And on top of those, you know, also this engagement with my lieutenant and the Tyrios, that was also incredibly unlikely, right, to go on for more than a couple of orders. So all in all, I think I was a bit lucky, but on the other hand, I think all the decisions I made were okay, and this is how it played out. So I think a good game overall. As usual, you know, this is a game of dice, and so sometimes crazy things happen, but this is part of the beauty of it. So thanks for staying with me so far. We're ready for some conclusion of our narrative. Human Edge, Flying Carpet, Batu Belin Incorporated Company Shuttle. Proximities of Rigoletto cargo ship wreckage. Batu Belin felt like when stepping on manure with cleated soles. It was going to take a lot of effort for a result far from satisfactory. Aleph again. After that maniac Uncle Pentium obsolescent quantum computer, now this other Neo-Pythagorean splinter cell. Why couldn't he face more normal opponents? Even the EI was easier to understand. He could definitely see why Achilles and his friends had decided to move on. The mission had been a success, although all the Gulam and Barid operatives were being resurrected at the moment. Hopefully the intel they had gathered from the field operation would have filled in some of the gaps. They had pushed back Aleph but had not gained anything spectacular. Could all this Mothball thing be just a scam?